Buenos dias, everybody. It's Angel. Welcome back to the channel. And why the Spanish? Well, we are in Mexico today for a little flying adventure. Now, I've had these airports installed for a while, and they are absolutely gorgeous. And I want to do some flying down here because I do a lot of flying in Alaska and Canada. And it's time to go see more of the world. Now, we're taking the Coronado Seminole today because these kind of planes are kind of common around here, and they mostly contain funny compartments full of magical powders. But we won't go into that. Now, I will link to these airports in the description. They're available on flightsim.to for free, so you can enjoy some hopping. This is out on the peninsula just south of Tijuana, in just south of San Diego. So it's down there on the Baja Peninsula, just to the very north of it actually. And we go across the, well, southern, or just south of the US border. So let's take a little look in here. Now, there's been a lot of updates to Sim. This is after World Update 6, and my performance is really nice, to be honest, right now. We don't need that right at the moment. So let's make sure our appropriate equipment is on. And let's get ourselves cranked up here. It should be about a 30-minute ride today. We're going to stop at 2 airports along the way. So we're taking off from Mike X-Ray Alpha Bravo, which is La Rumorosa. We're heading to Mike Alpha X-Ray, Alpha Charlie. Arroyo de Agua, which is the river valley, I believe. My Spanish is rusty. And then Mike X-Ray Alpha Delta Torreon airstrip. So, a couple of these little places. Gorgeous work done by the developer. Freeware, of course, so really, really nice. Let's get this bad boy cranked and ready to rock and roll. Looking good there. Where's my fuel pumps again? I always forget where that one is. There we go. Now, because of course I have the honeycomb, I need to make sure I don't do that. We'll start manually. Let's make sure our fuel is actually set. I think that's my fuel. I can barely tell because everything's in the way. And I can't quite click it. There we go. There we go. Thank you, Coronado, for that positioning. Looking good. Okay, and let's crank right. And we now have 2 engines. Perfect. Okay, so it should be a relatively simple trip today. Let's make sure all electrics and power are on. Fairly routine little adventure. Should be squawking 7,000 down here in Mexico. We're 1200. I think that uses North America, so yeah, I think Mexico still uses 1200. I don't know, but hey, it's not like I'll be running a transponder in this airplane, so it doesn't really matter. In fact, let's roleplay this out correctly. Off. Okay, there we go. Appropriate roleplay. Let's do this. Right, let's make sure that is off. Let's give ourselves some flaps. Now, this strip is very, very bushy. That's a technical term. We're out here in the middle of the desert, so we're going to back taxi and head off downhill. So we should have enough room for this. What other traffic and what tower? So just a small little shack and some boxes of what I assume are children's toys. Those are actually breeze blocks, so irrelevant. But we're definitely carrying children's toys today. I believe they're little dollies. They don't contain anything other than joy. Well, that's actually true either way, but never mind. We'll digress. Now, am I characterizing and stereotyping a nation? Maybe, but it's for fun and everyone hopefully gets the joke. No, I don't think that's what everyone in this country is, but when you think about aviation along the border, little dirt strips in the middle of nowhere, you definitely have a particular thing in mind, right? Yeah, not just me. Now this is fairly short, so we're going to have to try and short field takeoff here with the trees at the end of the runway. So power's good, flaps are set. We have full power. And we should be able to get out of here. Speed's picking up pretty quickly. hop it into the air and keep the nose down a little bit. Then we can pull up and clear the trees. Gorgeous, gorgeous scenery around here. Probably get a better view when I roll around this direction. But look at this. Oh my god. That is breathtaking. Now we are heading entirely the wrong direction, so we need to turn a little further south and fly along the edge of the gorge here. Pull my power back. And get ourselves trimmed and ready to go here. So the airport we're heading down to is called Arroyo de Agua. And Arroyo is gorge or valley, and Agua, water. So I'm assuming it's river valley, or the river valley. River Valley Field, we'll go with that. But honestly, some of the most gorgeous scenery I have actually seen in quite a while. And I do a lot of my flying in very, very, should we say, temperate environments and tundra environments. So this gorgeous desert is an absolutely breathtaking, refreshing change, and something that I think this sim being so pretty in so many different ways really gives us the opportunity to enjoy. Because suddenly we're out in this stunning environment. I mean, look at this. That is absolutely gorgeous. And the photo scenery does absolutely justice down here. And I can tell you, there is amazing satellite photo scenery along the Mexican border. I don't know why, but it turns out it has some of the most high-resolution satellite imagery in the world. Thank you, Asobo, for caring about our flight simming needs. It's totally just because of that. No other reason. We are going to fly relatively low today because let's pretend we're running radar. Why not? It's not like we're actually low enough for that to matter, but I don't really feel like flying at a specified altitude, just enjoying what environment we actually have down here, because there's not going to be a lot of other aircraft apart from all those drones, so we don't need to pay attention to that. Now I've ended up, once again, the GPS has given me a weird actual location here, so let's try and get this programmed manually quickly. Looking for A, and we're going to a C. That's the one. Arroyo de Agua. Okay, so we're actually not too far away. We'll just have to reprogram it again. For some reason, when I actually create a flight plan, it never does it properly, and that's always kind of weird. Once you come over this crest line here, you'll see some stunning scenery down here in the north of Mexico. And this is one of those huge opportunities. Like I mentioned, the sim has so much variety for us. Papua New Guinea, Mongolia, China, Mexico, South America in general. Places that were just bad with the land class BS of former sims. We now genuinely have a stunning world that we can really enjoy from the air, the best way. Okay, so we shouldn't be too far now. We're about 2 miles out from Arroyo de Agua. We should have it just on the edge of the valley down below. Big lake out there. Now it should be just ahead of us. I believe it's going to be down below, just overlooking the drop. I think that is it here. I may be wrong. But we are also dealing with an altitude of about 6,000 feet here, so this is a bit of a higher altitude landing than one would typically like. It's also why I chose a twin. It gives me a little bit of extra grunt for this. Whilst I'd love to fly a small bush plane, and I could, it would take us a lot longer and would be a lot less safe. And our useful payload of fun powder would be significantly smaller. There's the strip. And I think the pickup truck is at the end of the strip down there waiting for me, so... Yes, 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 landing gear. Thank you. Right. Let's configure ourselves for landing. Put some flaps down. Now the strip's going to be just behind us there, so we're going to do an arc out over the edge of the cliff face here. We need to be careful about the actual drafts coming up there, because with thinner air and strong winds up very sheer cliffs, it can end up making things kind of spicy. So confirming gear is down, flaps are set. Field is in sight. Oh, pulling the nose down there. Downdrafts had my nose for a moment. There's the strip. God, this is breathtaking. This feels like I'm looking at Tatooine from Star Wars. Pew, 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 pew. I'm a child. I'm sorry. I can't help myself. Okay. So we're roughly on base here. Roll it around, and we have to be very careful not to overexert ourselves here, because it's hot. We're at high altitude, and the potential for the air to not lift us is quite high, and for a spin in on approach. So let's level the aircraft out here. We have to be a little gentle, considering we are in a retractable. It's not as sturdy. We have got an uphill runway to help us here. We're just got to make sure we clear the scrub at the threshold. I mean, these are simple airports. They're just a dirt strip where it should be, rather than the default one. A couple of little vehicles, maybe a shack or something. It makes a nice little change. Dodge the bush. There we go. And we are down. Ah, there's Juan with his package for his sick child. Yeah. For some reason, that child needs 10 kilos of sweets. Okay. Oh, let's get ourselves turned around here. Starting up on dirt means it gets a little bit requiring of heavy throttle application, which is something you tend to find rolling resistance is a lot harder. Okay, let's get that back door open. Lick a load as well, we're sat here. Do love the little Seminole. It's basically a PA-28 but with 2 engines. Makes for a fun little cruiser as well. But simple airport, just the addition of a small pickup truck and this gorgeous little dirt runway. We've got the rocks around it and the scenery, and wait for this departure. You guys will love this. So whilst I'm on the ground, I'm going to be practical here, and I'm going to actually program in our next destination. There. Okay, is it going to behave itself this time? I was very much hoping to review the Juntas this week, but unfortunately, as you all know, it's been delayed by a couple of weeks. Now, I can see why people are frustrated because they want their shiny. I am too, because it's something I've really looked forward to flying. But would you rather than release it now with bugs and it be broken and a massive pain in the ass, or would you rather it be a much more polished, finished product? I know I would as well. So there you go. I don't mind waiting a little bit longer for it to be right. Okay, so we are set there. Okay, and I still have my fuel pumps on, actually. Okay, so downhill departure, dirt, about, 4,500 feet. Yeah, this makes things a little bit interesting, but release the brakes and off we go. And now we're heading to Torreon airstrip, which is just at the other side of here, so we'll get some stunning views along the way. Let's manhandle this thing up. Gear is coming up. And this is one of those times where I will tolerate third person, just for the view we're about to get down here. As we come up over the crest of the Arroyo de Agua, the river valley. Look at this. Oh my god. That is stunning. I've said it a couple of times, I've gushed a bit, and people say I gush too much sometimes when I'm talking about these things, but how can you not just be impressed by that? Although that looks really angular, that could be a distance thing. So this is of course post-sim update 6. Did Juan close the baggage compartment? I think he did. Yes, he did. So, again, this is post-sim update 6. Have I seen any performance difference? Slight, yeah, slight improvement. Smoothness is definitely increased. And it's something I'm very excited to see. But it's all going to depend entirely on what we get going forwards. Because Sim Update 5, whilst it helped with a lot of things, it broke quite a few things too. And that needed a lot of fixing. So it left us in a position where we had to recapture what we had. Update 6 has initially caused some issues. Now, this is always going to be a problem when you deal with a environment, and this is going to be a cautionary tale here, but when you deal with a game platform where you are routinely modifying it, you're modding it, okay? When the developer releases updates, and you have messed with things, you have messed with code, you've messed with configs, you've added new add-ons and features to the game, whilst the game can support that, there is always going to be the caveat of, if you modify something, you should know what you're doing. And realistically, not everything will always be compatible with the change they make, and they can't make changes based on what every possible mod does. So guess what? Occasionally your mods might break something. So if in doubt, fresh install. Start from scratch, work out what the problem is, or even just remove mods till you find out what the problem actually is. Back things up, be careful. Because as it stands, users modifying things typically is what leads to a lot of these issues. And I stay away from modifying the configs and the back-end stuff of the sim, which I can do, choose not to, because it's largely often a hassle. But the biggest issue I find is it tends to lead to more stability. Now, if I have add-on issues, I remove them till I find out which one it is, narrow it down, and then I either look for a fix or I wait till there is one. But it's about realizing what you're getting. I installed Sim Update 6, no issues downloading from the server, no issues with the loading into the game. Game performance has been fine. It's been wonderful. And hopefully also what they've done with the change to the photo scenery and bandwidth has fixed the dropping out of photo scenery and staying out, the issue that has been arising. But whilst there are some issues on their side, there are plenty of issues that we also ourselves cause. Hence why my little cautionary tale there of you mod it and you get what you get. Now I can guarantee you Asobo will provide support for people who've got the exact vanilla game and they're having issues, they haven't made any modifications. That's something they could fix because it's their game. You start modifying it, it's no longer exactly what they supported and what they created, so it's harder for them to do that. Alright, let's just zoom out our GPS for a second because a little bit far zoomed in here. But look at this, absolutely beautiful. Lush fields to the north there. Mexicali is over there. So the city of Mexicali on the border is right over there. And Imperial on the US side. Absolutely gorgeous. So we're about 38 nautical miles away from Torreon right now, which is again just south of the US border and off the Baja Peninsula per se. Yes, it is exactly off the Baja Peninsula. So we're actually not on the peninsula itself. We are at what we'd call the head of the peninsula. So you've got I'm having a stroke. What the hell airport is that one in city? San Diego. There you go. San Diego, and then you've got Tijuana right on the west coast. And then if you go down, you've got the Baja Peninsula. You've got Arroyo del Saos, you've got Tecate, and that's roughly the area we're in right now, the Tecate range. So We are clearing that range. We just left it, in fact, as we come over this body of water. And we're heading towards Mexicali and on to Torreon. So whilst a little bit more GA flying, there are a lot of places where you can do some great bush flying out in Mexico with the dirt strips, with tricky to get into areas. I mean, those cliff faces were stunning. I mean, look at that scenery behind us. That is just asking for gorge flying. Now things get a little bit flatter as we come inland here because things drop away almost back towards roughly sea level. So we're going to descend down a little bit from 4,000. So we'll pull the power back here. Now there have been rumours about the Local Legends series, possibly, as they haven't actually done Canada, although North America technically happened, it was technically USA. A Local Legends 50s era aircraft they're looking at, so the Juntas for Germany. If they do a Canada one, someone made a very good point actually on the Got Gravel Discord about how Milviz went suddenly very quiet about their DHC2. What if Milviz are working with Asobo on one for a Local Legends release of a Beaver? Ooh, yes. Possible rumour. I like rumours. Rumours are fun. But Local Legends, obviously, it gives us a lot of potential options. And if we look at what scenery areas they're expecting to do upcoming for those regions, it can give us a clue of what we're really looking for. Now, we've got a lot of Europe covered, which means they can go back and do a lot of those ones, but that kind of means a lot of the aircraft manufacturing hubs are already covered. So, other than possibly Russia being one they're looking at, and we could see maybe something Russian coming, which would be cool. I expect we'll go back and we'll see some classic European types. So we'll probably get maybe an Oster. Maybe we'll even see any of the various de Havilland aircraft. Maybe we'll see a Spitfire. Or a Mosquito would be amazing. But are they going for civilian purely? Are they going for military? Now, the Junkers is an iconic airliner. Let's not forget, it's not just a military aircraft. It was an airliner. We know Airplane Heaven's doing a Dakota, so even though a Dakota would be almost the ideal aircraft for Asobo to do for a Local Legend for the USA, maybe we'll see a Clipper. Maybe we'll see something like a 707. Who knows? There are plenty of aircraft types we could possibly see here, giving us something a lot more interesting for that to think about. Come up with some ideas in the comments. What areas are we expecting to look at for world updates, and what do we think the Local Legends aircraft will be for each region? If they do one for the 6 regions they've done so far, if 6 is the Junkers, what will the other 5 be? That'll be an interesting question. Tell me what you think in the comments. And honestly guys, I love the comment section we have here. It's a great little community, it's growing, and I love chatting to you guys down there. So if you have thoughts, you have feelings, comment away. We can have a good chat about it. And as we look down now, we're clear of that range behind us, so we're coming into airspace here of General Rodolfo Sanchez Tabada International here at Mexicali. So we'll need to swing a little bit further south so as not to get too close to that. That's it there, actually. We're about 27 miles out, so we'll descend down to 2,000 here. Actually, no, we'll stay at 3. 3 is a good number for us. Let's make sure our mixture is right. We'll just stay south there. Obviously, we may have penetrated airspace here, but no one's yelling at me, so I'm going to pretend it's fine. It is Mike Lima there. Or that's not. It is there somewhere. I think that's just a field. It should be up ahead of us somewhere here, so something to keep an eye out for. Let's go quickly look down here on our GPS. No, that's going to be further north of us, so that's fine. We actually should be just okay. We're entering the Class C, but we should be relatively alright. So we're getting about 140 knots here with the tailwind over the ground, so actually doing pretty good in terms of our numbers at the moment, so we shouldn't be too much longer before we arrive towards Torreon. I have been really enjoying flying some different aircraft of late, so the Seminole being one of those. Is it the kind of aircraft that I would perhaps normally fly? Bush plane? Not really, but it's one of those GA twins that is actually a lot of fun, and unlike the Seneca 5 that Carinado did, which has a horribly restricted field of view, this one has a good field of view on it and makes it kind of enjoyable. I've been debating what aircraft I want to take on a trans-Canadian flight from west to east coast, and I'm thinking that this could be one of them, although with a couple of the ones coming out soon, the Skymaster from Carinado will be a huge one. If that comes out, I will likely take that. The Cessna 337, a phenomenal aircraft, and I've been descending this entire time whilst talking to you. 20 miles out. We've got 10 minutes remaining. Now, Torreon should be a lot more civilized of a strip than those last two, but there are a total of 4. Of course, we have Mike X-Ray Alpha Alpha, Mike X-Ray Alpha Bravo, Alpha Charlie, and Alpha Delta, which is where we're heading to right now. And these were created by a freeware developer on Flight SimTO. Like I say, the links will be below in the description for the airfields. And if you want to enjoy some south of the border flying, it can actually make things quite interesting, because whilst there isn't a huge amount of stuff out for Mexico, and the default stuff isn't bad, it's nice just to have a little bit of extra nuance to some of the strips around and things to play with. Orbx has some stuff for Brazil. There's quite a lot for South America itself, but not really Central America. So Mexico and Panama, a little bit uncared for right now, but I'm sure that will change with time. So a lot of border agriculture here. It's such one of those weird things of the South in the North American continent is these irrigated segments of land just surrounded by deserts everywhere. Always looks so out of place, so manufactured, but I guess that is because it is actually manufactured. But I will say, for default scenery, this is definitely not bad. I really enjoy what they've done with this. Okay. Should not be a lot longer. Now I know we're also expecting news from Aerosoft and Just Flight. We have the Twin Otter coming very soon, imminent soon. And we have the Fokker Fellowship coming from Just Flight. Possibly another PA-28 from Just Flight, who knows? Carinado's 337, the local legends Juntas. We have the Simworks Quest Kodiak. That would be a cool one. But it's all a matter of when. I think a lot of developers have been holding off releasing with the update to see exactly what happens. So we may see a flurry of releases in the next week or two as developers finally drop out the things they've been working on that they know are going to be fine, as they realise it's not affected by this update as much as the big changes in the back end that Sim Update 5 brought. So it should make a difference in that regard, at least. Descending through 2500 now. There's a gentle en route descent. Little choppy actually out at the moment. Skies are beautifully clear though. Running live weather today. Unfortunately, I can't pull up the airport we're going to on Garmin Pilot because it technically doesn't exist. Or if it does, it does not have a predefined ICO that I can use, so that's unfortunate, but it's It's going to be interesting. We'll have to do this blind and work out what we're doing. I like to normally have a lot more information to hand about field length, width, directions, surface, obstructions, that sort of detail. Things I'd normally flight plan before taking off. In this sort of instance, I have to kind of wing it, which is possible, it's just a lot less predictable. And the more things you can predict in flying, the safer you are, even in a simulator. Oh, also, I will be planning my next tutorial in my series coming up in the next week or so. And what I need from you guys in the comments is what topic you want me to hit next. Now, I did the basics and I covered landing in more specifics. I wanted to kind of go from a very raw starting point of taking it where somebody could go from knowing nothing to knowing something in this. So what other relatively basic skill do you guys think that could do with more input, more look into? That's terrible English. What subjects do you think would be really beneficial for people to learn, or perhaps you yourselves want to know more about? Because as we discovered with the landing video, a lot of people think they know a lot about landing, but it's once you get into the nuance of why things do things a certain way, you start to see just how different or how much more you could know. So you give me an idea and I will see what I can do, guys, and we'll hopefully come up with the next one in the series. I've been enjoying making those. It feels very rewarding to give back to the sim community in a way, especially with the new generation of Xbox players coming in and people who may one day end up buying a PC and moving to PC flight simulation because they got their start on the Xbox. I think that they are our future. They're a younger generation being given their first look at the world of flying, the world of flight sim, and hopefully it's something that hooks them. And we should welcome them. There's been a lot of animosity both between PC and Xbox sides of the fence. Let's welcome these people. Let's give them our best, not our worst. Let's make them feel welcome. Let's give them the information. Let's give them the help. If we want them to be simmers more like us and not flying around upside down in 747s, yeah, there'll always be some people that do that in default multiplayer. There always have been. Where have you guys been? Default FSX multiplayer was always cancer. But at the same time, if we can not drive people away from a hobby because we behave like toxic elitists, maybe we can hook a simmer for life. Somebody that one day will end up a hardcore simmer like the rest of us. Sorry, that's my soapbox for the day. I will get firmly off it and stay away from soapboxes for the rest of our time. But I just feel very passionately about bringing up new blood into a hobby that has given me years and years of happiness. Okay, so we're about 6 miles out. We should be looking towards the field now. It should be off our nose. However, I'm not quite sure where. So it's going to be a bit of a magical mystery tour. I'm going to drop us down to about 1,500 feet here. No, stop whining. Okay, so I'm thinking it's roughly in the area of the green over there. I don't know if it will be or not, but that looks to be our ballpark heading. I'm going to maintain my speed and descent here without going too crazy. So the green fields off our nose should be ballpark, I think, where we're looking. Although it could be a little closer. Now it's going to be the south side of the river here. So there's the river below us. So this curls along here. So I'm expecting it to be in this area. Maybe. Let's keep our eyes wide open. Drop down towards 1,500, maybe 1,000 feet here so we can get a good visual. I'm getting the impression this will be quite a small place, so I might need every help I can get. Keep 1,500 on the manifold, so we're just not accelerating too much as we descend. Where is the airstrip? 2.9 miles out, we should be nearly on top of it. I don't see it yet, do you? A little bit to our south. Could that be it over there? There is a chance. We've got a canal here. Nope, I'm actually way off. Is that us? That could be us. Now we're heading towards it, so I'm confused and I am lost and I'm afraid. I have no idea where I'm going. We're going to have to turn around here and take a look. Right, let's get on the controls here. Try and find out where... Shut up! You know what, fine. I'll put the gear down and lets it stop whining at me. Okay, where is our... Is that it there? I think I see an airplane parked there. Which would make this... There's a windsock, yeah, that's our strip. Okay, this we can work with. It's going to be interesting, but we can work with it. Now, based on instructions, I'm going to want to come in this way. I don't know what the winds are, so I'm going to have to kind of guesstimate here a little bit. We'll make a test approach, we'll see what we're dealing with, and we'll take a look at this, because I can't see a defined landing area, is my problem. Okay, we'll turn over the town here. We'll roll it back in. And we'll bring the fun powder to all the good little boys and girls. Now, if people think I'm a little bit too jokey about things like that, I have a lot of friends in law enforcement, and I have a lot of friends in the military. I was in the military myself at one point, and we tend to have a dark sense of humour. It's not serious, it's just we make dismal jokes because it makes life easier. Okay, coming round. I still can't decide what is actually the runway there. I have no idea what the actual runway is. This is gonna be fun. I think it's this thin strip of dirt there next to that building just here. So I'm thinking it's that is our runway. It's rolling over the town. There's a bit of an industrial area there. Full flaps just to make this a little bit more stable. Okay. Just manage my approach speed here. About 70 knots incoming. It's going to be uphill here as well, which is good. So I think we're committed for a landing. Hold the nose. I don't know what kind of surface I'm dealing with here, but we're running out of runway. Okay, we're good. And this, I think, was the runway, so we looked out there. Wasn't quite sure till I was on final what the actual runway was, but we made it happen, didn't we? Okay, there we go. Flipped around and bring her down to parking to cap off our little trip through Mexico, just south of the border. Something I hadn't actually done much of before, but I think I may do some more flying down here. The scenery is stunning, and actually from my one trip to Mexico, some of the nicest people in the world. So I will have to fly down here a lot more as we pull up to find Hector with his pickup truck ready to collect our stuff. Okay. Well, folks, have a good time. I will deal with the guy with the AK, and we'll see you next time. Bye.